Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G here. All the media is talking about the Trump Zelensky meeting and talking about, for the very first time in history, we have seen basically an argument between two world leaders. And what I saw was how Trump put on display how weak American male masculinity really is. Guys, subscribe to my channel and let's have a little chat. What Trump just displayed to all of the world is basically how American men cannot compete in a patriarchy. They do not have what it takes to compete in a patriarchy. And I know a lot of American men probably who see themselves in Trump and see themselves as that little boy who is in a locker room with his little PP and so scared that the big jocks were going to pick on him. That's what we saw. The fact that JD Vance and the people in the background, they were all egging each other on. The guy who's asking Zelensky, why isn't he wearing a suit? Sir, his country's in war. How does it look for him to be going around wearing suits, looking fancy when his people are at war? That right there lets you know that every man in that room is playing to the next man in that room. And they are all behaving in a way, whether it's ethical or not, to who they see is their guide in morality, their guide in ethics. And that's Donald Trump. And so everybody in that room is trying to be a little Donald Trump. They're all trying to be ruder than the next and pick on people and find things that they think might be weaknesses in that person because they think that person gets more coochie than they do. It's a room full of incels who are just playing to each other. And that is weakness. That is such a weak position for the rest of the world to see America's patriarchy as. The one that is planning on dictating to the rest of the world how they're going to behave, what they're going to do, and how they're going to run their countries under their guidance and superiority. And they just showed we have little penises. Because, first of all, a man who is this illogical. I'm going to tell you what, Zelensky gave me the best one-liner that I'm going to be saying to my husband the next time he picks an argument with me. When Zelensky told him, you are raising the volume of your voice, but not the logic of your argument. Lord have mercy, that is the best thing that I've heard in a while. I cannot wait to say it out loud to somebody, probably my partner. But all like we really saw how weak America's patriarchy is. And it is looking for a new patriarchy to take over. And for Trump, that stronger man than him is Putin, right? It's Putin or Elon Musk or whoever. So with every little man, they're looking for that next man that they feel is strong and that's going to guide them to the strength that they want to achieve. These are all men with father issues. Absolutely all of them have daddy issues. All of them are trying to prove to their daddy that just because they inherited a small prick just like him does not mean that they're losers too. They are in there trying to control things that they don't understand. And if anybody in that room had any integrity, any sense of actual self confidence, that would have been the person who stood up, but nobody did. And that's what we keep seeing over and over again, that now we are being led by the weakest men in American society. These are the examples of the weakest men in American society. And they're the ones running the country. And when you start saying, well, all these men voted for him, do you see why now? Because those are also weak men. They want to control women. They want to control, and it comes down like it's the trickle down theory that they want to pretend works for economics, but this is how they see their power mentally. Because for these men who have this much power, even though they're emotionally and mentally and spiritually corrupt and weak and all of these things, it hasn't mattered, because the men who are just like them helped put them in the office, helped get them to where they're getting, and that feels like power for the men below them, all the way down to the men who are, suffering and poor, but still their constituents. Someone was talking about how most of the men who fought for the Confederacy to keep people enslaved, to keep people's property, their mansions or, their plantations, did not own land, let alone own a slave. But they fought and they died for those men to have those things. They didn't have anything. They had nothing. They were some of the poorest people. And we're seeing that when we are confused by MAGA, these are their descendants. These are the same people who will do this over and over again. I'm planning on posting, I'm working on content right now to talk about how these people became a part of this cult and this cult mentality. For generations, these people have been propagandized and brainwashed, and they will never, ever, ever see the other side of this. All of the people who are trying to explain these people, how it's wrong, how it's this, what it looks like, what it really means, they can't see it because they have been brainwashed for generations. And I've done some research on this. I'm going to be posting about that really soon, along with how United States, following this authoritative oligarchy, will likely end up. There's so many examples, especially here in Europe, that I want to share with you. So guys, I really think that when we look at what happened between Trump and Zelensky and this meeting in the White House, the rest of the world understands how weak the men in charge of the United States are. And there's a global patriarchy. Patriarchy doesn't just exist in the United States, but stronger people than those men are seeing what can happen in our government now. That was on full display. And if you don't agree, then you don't understand how the patriarchy has really affected you. Or you're one of those weak men, or you're one of those women who support these type of weak men. And there's plenty of them. So guys, I really wanted to jump in and talk about this. And I really think that as we are staring down the direction in which the United States is going, we have to recognize it is weak men that destroy so much of us. And as women, weak men have destroyed women individually. And now you have a group of weak men trying to destroy a country to prove that they don't have little wee-wees. So guys, subscribe to my channel. I look forward to having a chat with you in the comments, and ciao for now.